Hi, I'm Mason Knight, and welcome to Psychic Biz Live. With me tonight is Sonia Haynes and Divine Angel, one of our new hosts over at our Blog Talk station. Tonight we're talking about symbolism now becoming part of everyday life. A lot of mystical symbolism is starting to pop up in everything from jewelry to cartoons to different shows. So we're going to be talking about that and sharing what's going to be happening over at Psychic Coffee Shop, which is sponsored by Psychic.biz. And now we're going to be having shows for you until starting on Tuesday, starting on Sundays with Divine's new show, Angels Whispers, and running all week long. For your enjoyment and your comfortability. All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Miss Sonia for a moment and let her do her introductions and talk about what she's got going on this week.
I am Sonia Nadina Haynes, emotional healer, life coach, and I am author of 4 books. Boy, it's really, I don't understand the people who write 50 books and then they have to sit down and spiel them out. I have a hard time with that. I just write it. The rest of the universe takes care of the rest of it. Terrible, huh? I run my own show, Change Your Mind, Shift Your Life Talk Radio, which is on Blog Talk Radio. I also have the Oracle's Point of View on the Psychic Coffee Shop, which is on Tuesdays, 6:30 to 7:30. Just happened a little while ago, so if you ever want to drop in, it's basically looking at different points of view, different perspectives on life, intuitive stuff. This week we talked, and you should go and check it out. This week we talked about being psychic and what it means, and how you, if you feel that taking that direction, psychic, intuitive, I feel they're all the same. If you choose to take that direction, what you need to do to connect with that. I am on psychic.biz. Unfortunately, as a writer, I should have it on most of the time, but I don't. So when I'm on, just drop by and check it out. Otherwise, you can give me a call, and I'm there. So I'm there. I'm your oracle. I'm the conduit through which spirit speaks. I give you guidance and information that will take you along the path towards the life of your dreams. I'm going to pass it on to TJ. Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm TJ. Nice to meet you all. It's such a pleasure to be back on Psychic Biz Live. Thank you for having me again. I am one of the newer readers to Psychic.biz, but I have been reading for quite a while professionally, about 10 years on and off, something like that, and I've been very aware of my psychic abilities since I was about 4 years old. I have spent a long time studying various arts, including the tarot, law of attraction. I have a certificate in advanced divination, not to boast, just giving you a bit of background.
Go ahead and boast.
I am on Psychic Biz most days. If I'm not there, you can book an email reading. There's a list of different email readings that you can have on there, and I think they're quite reasonably priced for everything that you get. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I'm going to hand over to Resmeranda, if we can hear her.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, goody. Yay.
Hi, everybody. I will not be done by technology. Technology shall never get the better of me. So anyway, I'm Resmeranda. I'm happy to be here. I'm a reader also on Psychic.biz, also host of Radio Tarot on Blog Talk Radio, on the Psychic Coffee Shop online. I got it right this time. You can find me on Psychic.biz usually most nights, evenings. I also am a life coach, hypnotherapist, relationship coach, NLP practitioner, and audio genius. So other than that, I don't know.
And the shows that you guys host on Blog Talk Radio, people can listen to those on archive, can't they?
Absolutely.
Yes.
All of them. Everybody's.
Yeah.
Yes, all of them are archived. I'll actually want to talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about our new one coming over, Miss Divine Angel. How are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're new to the group.
Hello, hello. Yeah, my name is Divine Angel, and I will be hosting the Sunday evening show, Angel Whispers, and I will be talking about everything around angels, connections with angels, and also we'll do some angel card readings. I'm also a Reiki master. I am new to psychic.biz, and I am very excited to join your team here, and I absolutely love it. And well, I hope that something good will come out of all this.
Oh, it will, darling.
Mainly, yeah, I mainly work with angels and guardian angels, even spirit. Um,
Excuse me.
Originally from Germany, and came to this wonderful country in the year of 1999. And have had a lot of loss, including a near-death experience, which actually led me to my path of a light worker. So I'm very compassionate in my readings on Psychic Biz. Um, I'm experienced in my readings. I'm just a little nervous right now, but that will go away in the future. I know that.
You're doing
just
great,
need.
Divine Angel. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, so for those that don't know, the Psychic Coffee Shop has really expanded. We've now got shows on 5 nights. No, we're going to be at 6 nights a week. We're growing to 7 nights a week, and then we might be even doing some double shows a day. And you can now listen to us at Google Play, iTunes, Sketcher Radio, SoundCloud, and we're in the midst of going over to the Magic Happens Radio Network too. So you can take us literally on anywhere, on any device, and listen to us in your car, although you might not want to do some of the meditational shows because those would put you kind of out. But you can take us exercising. You know, this morning I listened to Sonia's show while taking my walk. So you can literally, we're everywhere, we're there for you, and this will actually go up into the archive, so you'll be able to listen to us on YouTube, but if you actually want to maybe rehear something, it'll be on our SoundCloud and iTunes network too. So tonight we're talking about symbolism becoming a part of modern day life. About 6 months ago, I think it was, I was picking up, over at the video game store, picking up some video games for my assistant, who is a major gamer, and he wanted this new game, and I'm like, well, I don't know, it's kind of a lot of money, and it's, we got about 4 months out before it's released, so we can pick it up later, and he goes, but it comes with a deck of tarot. And I'm like, really? It comes with a deck of tarot? Okay, let's order it because I collect tarot decks. I have a whole case for me to keep my tarot in. And the game was called Dishonor, and they have their own tarot deck, which is quite interesting. But then, TJ was talking about, and I remember this, when I had kids, was Power Rangers and how they actually got a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more magical. And then I went and talked to a friend of mine, and he's like, oh, yeah, anime's got all types of spiritualism in it. So, TJ, tell us a little bit about your deck, because you've got a different tarot deck, too.
Yeah, this is something that I'm very keenly interested in, actually. My main working deck is actually a Sailor Moon deck. I'll just flash the back up here at the moment. I have a collection of Sailor Moon decks. Sailor Moon's like my favorite magical girl anime. So technically these girls are witches. Technically Maho, so I can't even speak. The translation of magical girl is basically saying that they're a good witch, basically. But what's particularly special about Sailor Moon is that every character in here has a planet representative, and they also have a mythological god representative as well. Can be one or two gods. Sometimes it's from Greek mythology, Roman mythology, sometimes Norse mythology. So just flick through a couple of the cards here. That's Sailor Uranus, Sailor Saturn, that's Sailor Moon herself with wrong coloured hair for some reason. I've never understood that. So yeah, and so when I'm doing readings, that's something that really gets me a lot of information because I'm very familiar with the characters and very familiar with the symbolism from the show, the little symbols that they use for, you know, the astrology and the planets and all that, and that actually helps me get a lot of information. So I'm very keen to get other people to do similar to this. You know, if there's something that you really resonate with, and there is a deck of cards available or a set of runes. I've seen runes based around certain shows and things as well. I think it's, you know, a very, very good way of working. What do you think, Resmeranda?
I think it is a good way of working, and it surprises me. It surprised me. You and I, let's just say it, we're besties. We talk a lot. So we see, it surprised me when you started saying, I use the Sailor Moon deck for readings and incorporate it with this deck and that deck. That, to me, didn't have anything at all to do with tarot or divination. But when we started doing, just for fun, we would do comparative readings. Like I would pull a couple cards and you would pull a couple of Sailor Moon cards or whichever cards you were using. The symbology is so similar and accurate. It dawned on me, hey, you know, you don't have to be so stuck up about using tarot like you've been. You can use other kinds of symbols. Speak to us, period. It doesn't really matter what they're called. It's what they are. It's what they represent. It's how they communicate with our subconscious and with our conscious mind. So, and we're just surrounded by them everywhere. And so to say that there's a certain kind of a deck or a certain kind of tool that's only good for divination or only good for games is so limiting and is a mistake, which I learned once I started learning about oracle cards of various kinds too. So it's just fascinating, and there's no end to it. And bravo to you for being exploring that side and saying, hey,
thank you.
You know, this is what speaks to me, and this is what Spirit tells me to use, and I've just seen you be scary accurate with that stuff.
Thank you.
What do you think, Sonia?
I find symbology in nature, everything around us, and all this stuff in the tarot cards, in the divination cards, oracle decks, angel cards, and so on, all stem from nature. For example, the I Ching came out of Emperor Fu He. You would go down to the river, and he hung out there, you know, trying to figure out where he was at and what's going on. And every time he went, the turtle would climb up from the river onto the banks, and he looked at the back of the turtle, and he started to read the markings on the back of the turtle, which actually from there came the symbols for feng shui. You know, and you look up in the sky, you have the archer, which is a line of stars that line up in such a way some really brilliant person with a very, very active imagination said, oh, that looks like an archer. And so, you know, so there's symbology in everything. And I tend to look out in nature. For example, eagles. If something really life-changing is going to happen in my life that day, I'll see a couple of eagles in the sky. I had an experience where I met a young man who was a Benedictine monk with me in England, you know, around the 1700s. The day he showed up, 12 eagles flew over my house, dancing around and around and around.
Wow.
And I knew it was important, but when the guy showed up, I was knocked back into past time. It was so overwhelming that I actually couldn't stand up. I slid to the floor, and I had to sit there till all of that, because I watched him carry the hunk of meat to the table, watched him carve it, watched everyone around the table talking and muttering to each other. So the eagles drew in the power of everything to open me up to see that. So if we pay attention to nature, what's going on around us, even the little hummingbird is an important symbol. The butterfly that flutters by when you're feeling badly about yourself, is also telling us that the angels are near. The hummingbirds, I think, is the angel bringing joy when you're feeling grumpy or feeling unhappy. So, I love the tarot in that, or all divination, whether it be runes or tarot or so on. I love it because I talk to the person, and then I flip the cards, and the cards basically repeat what I've just said, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, people seem to need confirmation, and I think that's what symbols do for them. It gives them confirmation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
agree.
We need signs.
Yep. So
Yeah.
my question is a question for the panel, and we'll start with Divine Angel. With all these symbolisms and stuff coming more common, I mean, it's now public media. We don't have to go and hunt down books from the 1600s out of the university library or stuff. It's popping up. I mean, on video games, it's popping up in TV. It's even starting to pop up in jewelry. There's a designer on QVC that has different bracelets, and they have the actual correct stones for them. Example, they used to do love bracelets with pink ice. Well, now they're love bracelets with rose quartz in them.
Mhm.
Do you think this is why we're starting to see? The question is, do you think that is why we're starting to see younger and younger psychics, just because the symbolism is starting to come out more popular?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that we have more people coming out with symbolism. They understand symbolism in a different way. For example, TJ brought up the Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon, when I heard this, I thought immediately about my daughters because I love that TV show. And I could imagine that a lot of younger psychics are using these symbols in a positive way. I personally have always gone by my own feeling how something speaks to me, and I'm pretty sure that you experience the same way when you see a deck or you feel like you have a connection to that deck. You will get it, and then you start working with it, and it immediately speaks to you in some way. I found that very interesting. I have a book here about tarot, and I got it from a very good old friend of mine, and it represents. It has the Aleister Crowley deck in it.
The Thoth deck.
The Thoth deck.
Yeah, I can't work with that. This is something that never spoke to me, but the symbolism that's in there, I take a lot of the meanings and the symbolism from that deck with me. So I'm constantly learning. And I started out actually with tarot, and then I got into angels. And the angel decks I'm working with are coming from all over the place, and I love it. So I think it's very important that we give young people the chance to learn about symbolism.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mainly work with angels, and, all right, let's take it back 30 years. You didn't see all this angel stuff around. There wasn't TV shows about angels unless it was religious broadcasting. There wasn't, now you can go to the gas station and they've got the little angel stones all over the place for you to carry in your car. What's your feelings about it becoming more mainstream? We're no longer behind that purple curtain with the smoky incense, and the mystery
Well,
isn't
some of
there
us.
so much.
Yes, speak for yourself.
My feeling about it is that people are literally looking into that. People are looking for hope. They look into symbols like we have enough. Let's say it this way: we have enough bad things going on in the world, and people are looking for symbols. When they have a little angel with their birthstone on it, and they hold on to it. It gives them hope and faith, and it makes a little bit that bad stuff go away for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how I see it today. And I think when we as intuitive people can give people hope and bring them a little bit of their faith back, then we are doing a good job, I think.
Okay, so TJ, you had a differing view about us maybe needing to stay behind the purple curtain. What was your view?
Oh, I was just teasing because I separate my personal life, if you like, to my sort of psychic studio with a curtain, with a sort of proper silk curtain to sort of keep that boundary. But I just want to come back to what Divine Angel was saying about symbols bringing people a little bit of faith. You know, for me, the sort of anime symbolism and game symbolism, etc., is very much connected with my faith. And just to go back even slightly to the Power Ranger thing, they actually had a series based on angels about 4 or 5 years ago, where they were angels themselves, and they used cards as part of, you know, the transformation and stuff like that. But for me, it's very much connected with my faith because, as I was saying, these characters do have mythological gods and stuff connected with them, and I am pagan, and so I use the statues of the characters from the anime to represent the gods who I connect with. Or pay homage to. So for me, it's actually it doesn't give me a little bit of faith back. It's actually very much connected, and I feel like without having it in a way that I understand and in a way that is accessible to me, and perhaps I wouldn't have such a strong faith in what I believe in.
Mm-hmm. That's understandable.
Yeah.
So Raz,
Yes.
You know, with this younger generation coming up, you know, we, or at least me, had that, this is mystical, this is spooky. Do you think that they're going to have that feeling? You know, they've seen it throughout TV, and, you know, we got Charmed going on, and we've got the anime, and, you know, it's now coming common culture. Do you think that they're going to be able to easily learn it better because they're familiar with the symbols?
I know what you mean. I think that it is more commonplace. There is both, I think, a positive and a negative to that. Mm-hmm. On the one hand, people of let's just say our generation were thought of, especially if you come from the southern part of the United States, for instance, like you and I do, Ethan, that you're taught that there's a mystery to it, that there's a taboo to it even, that there is something that is unknown and that perhaps a little bit dangerous, which is of course what made me curious about all of it in my Southern Baptist family, and probably you too, and so that we were ingrained with, yes, there is the supernatural is real. There is a good and there is an evil, but it's real, it's all there, and it's all real. Now, okay, so it's commonplace now. The supernatural is commonplace now, let's just say. All right, that only worries me to the extent that it may not be taken seriously by anyone, or as much as it should anyway. I don't mean to generalize so much, but it takes... They say magic is only magic because we don't understand how it works, or that's what they used to call other things before we figured out how stuff works. But I think that I just don't want the supernatural, and I don't want magic to ever be disregarded, as something that's not important, or that's just a toy, or that's just a pastime. Yes, learn about it, but in a serious way. Have fun too, but do both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I agree about doing both. Have fun with it and have the serious knowledge as well. I completely agree with everything that you said there. Miranda, I wanted to ask you, because I know that you're quite interested in this. I wanted to ask you what you think about some shows having the symbolism and stuff there, but more subliminally?
Okay. I think that's it depends on intent, like everything else. It depends on, nothing is good or bad of itself per se. It's the intent behind it.
Yeah.
So if you have to expect, I think anyway, advertisers, for instance, to use subliminal messages and symbols that and colors, even, just like in divination, shapes, colors, symbols that are meant to cause an effect. You have to expect that. So what? That's not necessarily malicious.
Okay.
When it's something that's in a television show, for instance, that's made to influence a certain mindset, such as do bad things, or it's cool to be a serial killer, or it's something of that nature, and those things are there. You see them if you look for them and you know what to look for, or pornographic images embedded, for instance,
right,
in some Disney movies, as there's such talk about these days. I won't go there, but, there's a lot of, I highly resent that, but there's a lot of it there. I think it really all comes down to intent, and I think that you have to know. You can't just sit there in front of a television, or movies for that matter, and just blindly watch like you're an idiot with no brains. You're just going to be influenced by everything.
Yeah.
It's important to know what you're watching, and what it is, and notice how it makes you feel. If you don't know the symbology to look for, or the signs to look for, notice how something makes you feel. Mm-hmm. Does it make you feel anxious? Does it make you feel scared? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel happy? Do I feel like going and running out and buying a taco after I see the Taco Bell commercial? Notice, be aware of what's going on around you, for crying out loud.
Well, Miss Sonia, what's your thoughts on that? On different symbols, and having your own symbol, or even symbols in marketing?
For better or for worse, I think that when the individual takes responsibility for him or herself, none of those symbols can cause any form of disorder, distress, and so on. Too many of us want to be controlled by the big guy, so we can blame the big guy when things don't work out. A lot of people, I've met a lot of people who've come to me to so-called remove a hex, and the only reason why you would have a hex on you would be because you're receptive for it and you've drawn it into your space. That's all. If you're not open to such a thing, it does not affect you. It'll bounce right off of you. And I know that because I've lived sounds like I'm ancient, but I've lived a long life, and I've been around individuals who've slung stuff at me and it's bounced off and gone back to them. So, and I had an experience with a woman who decided that I got into this small town. I tend to do this all the time. I went into this small town, and everybody started wanting to talk to me, and she was unhappy because she was the grand poobah, and she came in and put an energy into my shoulder. Gosh, I was in pain. And then she tried it with something else, and I wasn't even aware that that's what she was doing. I was aware of what was there, and I kicked it to the curb, put it in light, sent it back where it came from so it wouldn't do harm where it came from. But it still affected her. She was trying to mar my face, and she ended up with the problem. But you see, I didn't see her as negative. I understood that she had jealousy. See, this is the reason why people do what they do, is because they carry jealous emotions, they carry fear. And when they do that, they throw that energy out. And they'll use symbologies, they'll do spells, they'll do all these things, and they'll use the symbologies in an attempt to send it out. But one thing I've learned is that if you have a thought or you have an intention, if you send it out to someone, it's going to return to you. So don't even try it. My grandmother used to say, if you're going to dig a hole or a grave for somebody, make sure you dig two, because chances are you're going to fall into it. Okay, so at
Absolutely.
least you, even when you fall into it, the other person will get caught. And that's exactly what happens all across everything, is that if someone chooses to be negative and try to point that negativity using symbologies towards you, if you carry within your heart that purity, you will see the energy around you will actually show you signs that you will tell you, careful, watch it, don't go there. You know, some of us are stubborn. We tend to keep going when they say don't go. But if you trip and fall, get up and turn back, right? So, you know, we have a lot of that happening, and whatever they're trying to send to you will go back. So the so-called evil don't bother me, because I'm not that I don't buy into it. I'm aware that it is there, but I'm not interested, and because I'm not interested, it doesn't impact me. Only the guides, only love and light enter my world, because that's where I come from.
So, you know, you've wrote about a lot of manifestation in your thing, in your books and stuff, because I love your books. But what about using certain symbols for manifestation? Example, if you're wanting love, don't be having pictures of like scorned people that aren't interested in you around you.
Yeah, well,
Or,
I mean,
you know,
yeah,
money symbols in everywhere.
right. You know, it's funny because I've worked with clients where I've gone to their homes. They want love to show up. I walk into their home. This one particular woman, she had a bad relationship. Marriage lasted 30 years. They broke up. It was horrible. She's got the man's photo all through the whole house. That's a symbology of you holding on to the past instead of letting it go. So we had to take all those pictures. There was even one little thing that she didn't even realize she'd hung on to, or even a ring that someone gave you, you know, that you're holding on to. So you're holding on to the negative, the hurt, and the pain. So it's necessary for us. We create our own symbology, and it's necessary for us to pay attention to what we're holding on to, so that we can actually be free to have the positive things that we want.
hmm
Yeah.
But what if you were like trying to manifest something new into your life? Example, money. So you went through and you took a marker and you put little money. Let me see if I can get me up here. Little money symbols throughout your house, and like, you know, glow in the dark marker or white pen. Even though your mind can't, your eyes don't physically see it there, but
Yeah.
you know, you put them all through your house, so your mind knows they're there.
Do you know what's going to happen? If you can't conceptualize yourself having money, you're going to end up working in a bank. You're near money, you've got money all around you, but you're going to end up working in a bank on minimum pay, you know, or in a casino. I had a woman who had that. She was supposed to have money, and she was waiting for an inheritance. She ended up working in the casino. She's the one that does the cash out money thing. So she was handling lots and lots and lots and lots of money, but she wasn't
gives
getting it.
everybody
It
else
wasn't coming
money.
into. That's right. So, you know, you have to see it.
Right.
You have to see it in order for it to be there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
can that be like little mental reminders for you, seeing you hold the money, have the money? You know, one, I think it's Wayne Dyer, has everybody write a money check for themselves of how much money
Yeah.
they want to do. What do you think of that? How does it work? How do you see it working in your practice? And, you know, what does everyone think of that?
Yeah, well, okay, so if you want money, we all have guilt, fear, and embarrassment about money. You know, enough people say money can't buy you love and all that nonsense. Well, Van Gogh says, I'd like to be a poor person with a lot of money. So do I. So what you do is look at what the money can do for you. So if the money is going to get you a beautiful house, find a picture of the house and put it up on the wall. That's how you're going to shift the energy. Every time you look at the house, you're going to feel happy. Or if you want, and I do that in my money workshop, I say, you know, you want a car? Figure out what's the color of the car, what type of car it is, model of the car, you know, what's the interior. Imagine what it feels like to drive that car. Imagine, get yourself to the gas station, pumping gas. Be aware that you've paid for this car with cash. Once you have all of that emotion attached to the thing you're going to get. Because you have money, then the money will flow in for you to have it. Because we don't actually want money. We want the things that money can provide us.
Mm.
It's just that you need the money to get it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're wanting love, you shouldn't be watching breakup movies.
I know. You'll be living in the light, in the world of wanna have a love. Oh, where is my love?
What about your thoughts on that, TJ?
Well, I can't really add any more to what Sonia has said. To be honest, that is exactly what I teach people. Is, you know, to really visualize having the stuff, visualize having the money, what you would do with it. Really being in the moment of having the desired goal, whether that's money or something else that might be a job, specific job, and to really visualize being in the moment of that and meditate on that if that's easier for some people. Some people find meditation easier than just visualizing. But really doing that for a good 5-10 minutes every day of really being in the moment of. So I think Sonia really put that very, very well, and I really, really agree with you, Sonia. And I just want to put you in my pocket and take you everywhere.
Oh, I am in the pocket.
Yeah, but what about using symbols to cause you to think about it or to remind you of it?
Yeah, the Chinese have the coins, you know, the round with the square coins. 3 of those tied in red thread. Put it in your wealth corner, which is the far left-hand side of your house from the front door. So in that corner, well, look at what you've got over there, first of all. But that's where you put the 3 coins, and the Chinese give that on Chinese New Year. They give it as a gift to bring in abundance. So you take the 3 coins, you put it in the far left-hand corner of your house, of your whole house. Or if it's your office, you put it at the far left-hand corner of your desk from where you're sitting, facing the desk. And that in itself charges the energy and brings in the energy of abundance. I have a lady who charged her wealth corner. She wanted a lot of dough because that's how she talked. She wanted a lot of dough. She won 52 loaves of bread from a local. Okay, so being specific, you know what I mean? She said, talk about being specific. I wanted a lot of dough. That's exactly what she thought, and she put that thing there. She won 52 loaves of bread.
What about you, Rose Miranda? What's your thoughts?
That's so funny. That is so funny. It absolutely. It's not the thing that makes it happen. It's the feeling it gives you.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what we've been trying to say. It gives you, the feeling of, I'm so, now I know that I have this thing in my corner. I know that abundance is there. I feel like that's because it's working. I feel it. I believe it. It makes me feel like now I know I've done the thing that's going to make the other thing happen. So you don't have any trouble with belief. It's all about how you feel about it. And I had if I can make this quick, talk about a literal sign like the lady with the dough. I had an experience like that too. This was about 12 years ago. I was living in a little tiny town in northeastern Pennsylvania. And I was just in such a quandary. It's really bad marriage, really bad situation. I had to do something, and I had to do it soon. I was a homesick Texas girl. I wanted to go home in the worst way. What do I do? Do I stay or go? Spirit, show me, give me a sign, please give me a sign. And we need a sign sometimes because our emotions are just so, we can't. We need somebody to stand in front of us or something big to happen, so we pay attention. So what happened was, in this little tiny town with one grocery store that I lived close to, downtown is about 3 blocks worth, I went to the grocery store one day after having my little pity party, and I walk in. It's the middle of the afternoon. There's not hardly anybody there. There's a man speaking to a cashier. I see the back of him. I notice that he's dressed like a cowboy. He's got on a plaid shirt, blue jeans, cowboy boots, and I walk over past them to do my thing, and I kind of turn around and look at them both, and he's showing the cashier a picture of somebody. And I also noticed this man has on a belt with a gun and a round badge on it with a star in the middle. And don't you know, that man was a Texas Ranger.
Wow.
And there's no reason on this planet for a Texas Ranger to be in a northeastern Pennsylvania small town.
Yum,
Was he,
yum,
was he a
yum.
Texas Power Ranger, Rez?
Yes. That's for sure. I stood there, looked at him full on with my mouth open, and the cashier didn't know she'd never seen anything like him in her life. He said, thank you, ma'am, and I caught him on the way out, and I said, sir, please excuse me, I'm a homesick Texas girl, and you don't know it, but you just became a miracle in my life, and I wanted to thank you for showing up. And he said, well, I'm very happy about that, ma'am, have a nice day, and he left. And I just kind of stood there and went for about 2 days, and knew what to do. But you ask for something, you're going to get it, specifically.
Well, Divine, what's your thoughts?
Well, I tell my clients always that they need to visualize what they really want, and they have to communicate it in the right way. As Sonia mentioned, the lady with the dough, she got the dough.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell my clients, I said, when you don't visualize and you don't communicate exactly what you want, you have to really do that very clearly. Then you end up with exactly what you were wishing for, and that's common practice. I mean, I have noticed a lot of people want certain things, but they are not really sure how to ask for it or how to ask the right questions or send out the right thought to the universe. That is what I noticed. And I love it how you expressed it, Sonia. You said people want a house. They do not imagine the house itself. It is a form of drawing in what you want. Of course, you have to pay for the house, but people only think about the money. And money is a currency. Money is energy. Energy that brings us what we want. But we need to visualize what we exactly want. And I think when we learn that the right way, either through the law of attraction, I think the law of attraction is a very good example. We can definitely manifest what we want. If it is through symbols or visualizing, we can do it. So,
Cool. So, Miss Rose, what are we covering this Friday?
We are covering, well, speaking of signs and symbols, I wanted to talk about portals and different methods to use to open portals to say who the heck knows what. There's a lot of talk about that going on these days, don't you know, with CERN and different things like that. So I thought we'd talk about that just a little bit and show you maybe how to do it with tarot a little bit.
Ooh.
If you're not scared of going to hell and stuff like that.
I'm buying a vacation home there to go to the winter. I'm telling you, it's cold against here.
Yes, yes.
Whoa. What do they say? Hell, the speedboat, and I'll be driving the thing, and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What about you, Miss Sonia? What do you got rocking this week?
I have a workshop on Saturday called The Anatomy of Healing, where I, because the last 6 weeks I know 5 people, not specific, just one that was close, who've passed away from cancer. Cancer and also other types of diseases seem to be quite prevalent all of a sudden. So I'm doing a workshop to kind of explain why we have diseases and how we can actually disconnect from that mindset, because the human race, we're not meant to live in an unhealthy body. We're meant to actually live forever in the living forever, we do the reincarnation thing. But wouldn't it be nice if we did it all in one lifetime? Can you imagine living 1,000 years like Methuselah?
No.
Yeah, sorry.
I can. I am looking forward to seeing what the human race does in the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years from now. So I've already told everyone. I beg your pardon?
Only if we can hang out with you.
Okay, you're welcome. Come along. I'm going to build myself a compound or something. You can come, and we'll have satellites, and we'll just watch the world. I told everyone I'm living till I'm 200, and then I'll laugh. When you hear this big laugh echoing across the planet, it's me leaving. So, yeah. So next Sunday, we're Tuesday. Next Tuesday's show, I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about just yet because I usually only know just before. But it'll be in the same vein, oracle and messages and such, and the guides will come along. I'm going to need the transcript from today's show because it was really, really interesting. And so, yeah, there's a lot going on all around us. It's almost like the sleeping giant is slowly starting to wake up. And some of us might get a little bit crumpled in the process, but, you know, just keep yourself focused on who you are and your dreams. What are you laughing at, Mr. TJ? Your turn.
What do you got rocking this week, TJ?
I'll just be on, you know, Psychic Biz, offering readings. I do want to mention one thing, if that's okay. I do actually offer a free monthly healing. I meant to mention this last week. I usually do it around the full moon. So if people want to be included in that, just drop me a message on Psychic Biz, and I'll put you in my book of healing. It's just kind of my way of giving back to everybody. You don't have to have anything wrong with you to get some of the healing energy. It's just a bit of upliftment once a month. I am hoping to have a show very soon on the
coffee shop.
Yes, sorry, on the coffee shop. So we're working on that at the moment, just so it's a little bit different to, you know, what everybody else is doing. So yeah, that would be good. So apart from that, I'm just here, just doing readings, just being TJ.
Yeah, having fun.
Taking your space.
Yeah.
And Miss Divine will be joining us on Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern. So what's your show going to be about?
Well, my show will be about angels, angel communication, and our connection to not only to angels but also to spirit, to our loved ones, how we can connect, and everything around angels, angel realm. It will be pretty interesting, and I will be also, if you guys want that, I will pull some angel cards for some people, so we will see like what comes out of it, because as we already know, when we pull cards, they often validate, or they give validation, and I'm really excited to do that for you guys. Pull some cards for some people and see what comes out of it. So I hope you all come by, and I will prepare a few things, and it will be pretty interesting.
Cool. Awesome. And then, of course, the Psychic Coffee Shop is on Wednesdays at 11. Miss Rainey's joining me again. She couldn't be here tonight because of some technical issues, but I think we're going to be talking about reclaiming yourself and reclaiming your life. And then Thursday nights is Conversations with Asen, and that night I probably will be taking calls, and it'll be because you're my co-host, our listening audience, and we'll be taking your questions. And I think I'm going to be talking about changing your financial reality. So those will be fun. And of course, you can reach us all over at psychic.biz. Right now, their coupon code is Summer16, and that gives you 5 free minutes. And if you're a Blog Talk listener, you use the coupon code COFFEE, and a $15 deposit will get you an extra 10. I will be on sale until the 1st of the month, and then I will be going up, so that's only a few more days. And listen to our shows. Have fun. I hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next week at Tuesdays at 8 o'clock with Psychic Biz Live. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.